And we're live.
Great. Welcome to House Energy and Digital Infrastructure. It's the afternoon of January 29th. And we are, for about the next 20 minutes, continuing our committee discussion of our ongoing project to develop some committee guiding principles. So we've got some folks on our committee who volunteered to lead this project. So Representative Torrey, take it away.
Alrighty. So thanks to everyone who added some thoughts to our draft working document. Can everybody bring that up and review it quickly? Or should I just start reading them out and then we can?
Sure. I can see it.
Okay. So the first one is Article 18 of the Vermont Constitution. Firm adherence to justice, moderation, temperance, industry, and frugality are absolutely necessary to preserve the blessings of liberty. So what does that, in our, I think that was Representative Southworth.
Yeah, the 18th article of the Constitution. Yeah.
So for our work in this committee, that would look like least cost for frugality. What would moderation look like?
Well, we would have to do things at a pace that we can afford to do.
Okay. Yeah, so how about, I think that's a great way, a great jumping off point to craft some principles.
I can't get it because Dar's working email document on it.
So,
It tells me to go by
can you edit that right now?
I'm trying
or
to
can
find-
I? I'm happy to do it. Okay.
Yeah, I can't.
So you just said something about a manageable pace.
Yeah, take it at a pace that we can afford to do.
So in this case, proceed with infrastructure investments at a pace that's affordable.
Correct.
Proceed with infrastructure investments at an affordable pace or a pace
That we can afford to do, or affordable pace, however it's worded better. Yeah.
does that also are you also kind of thinking about incremental progress versus?
I think so. I mean, but that's open for discussion.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna get the ideas down and then we can.
Dara, where are the? Okay, never mind. I'm scrolling down. I'm looking
Yes, if
at
you scroll down, you can see some of
what the other committees
Yes.
wound up with.
And they generally started with a verb, like.
Ensure,
Active.
promote, develop.
Action verb, yes.
Okay.
So that's why I suggested proceed. Maybe
So our ultimate aim here is probably a document that has maybe 6 bullet points or something.
yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the question of does digital infrastructure have some principles that are a little unique to it? Having just read this book, which I highly recommend, that's giving me the thought of a statement like that we support policies that prioritize the citizen user, really centering digital infrastructure in the needs of the citizen versus what can happen with projects where it's more about government needs and less about who's supposed to be benefiting from the end result of the interaction with it, with technology. So I don't know how to say that, but
right? Like centering it in the citizen need.
Century, okay.
The, as we work through this, I think we're gonna need to probably, and this is such like great practice for our work. We're probably gonna need to try to strip away, words and phrases that are more loaded and get to
Yes.
like underlying values.
Yes.
So I like the thought of being guided by the Constitution and by our state statutes to a certain extent, like as almost an intro, like, within the framework of the Vermont
So, yeah, instead of
Constitution.
pinpointing just one article, just make it broader.
Well, that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
And I was really struck by, in Director Poor's testimony today, he actually had 30 VSA 202A,
Yeah.
Vermont's guiding energy statute, and I was like, well, that's not bad. And so I dumped it in our document, and then I started thinking like, geez, should we be guided by what's in law,
Well,
Right.
yeah, I mean, we should be guided by all law
Yeah,
and all the Constitution. So maybe have it at a broad guiding, are we adhering to Vermont law and Vermont Constitution?
yeah. And the
Something like
section
that.
of statute he pulled out for energy, anyway,
30 ESA.
30 VSA, and I put it in your doc.
Yeah, why wouldn't we just
Oh, you
fix
did?
that?
Well,
You put it in already?
To ensure to the greatest extent practicable that Vermont could meet its energy service needs in a manner that is adequate, reliable, secure, and sustainable, that ensures affordability and encourages the state's economic vitality, the efficient use of energy resources, and cost-effective demand-side management, and that is environmentally sound. And I started thinking like, God, what if we had is there something like that for, if we had one of those for energy and something
Yeah.
for the IT side?
Yeah.
But I don't know what you guys think about that, but I liked your thought of the Constitution, and then I was like, okay, well, this is state law, which we also take an oath to uphold.
Well, without the Constitution, we wouldn't have law.
Yeah,
So,
I put that in there for our thinking.
Right.
yeah,
One thing that that he also said was, he referenced trade-offs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's kind of implied when you're trying to do all of these things. And I guess that's one of the things that we do when we craft policies together or laws together that guide policy for the state. We have to kind of come down on trying to
Balance a bunch of
balance
differences,
sometimes competing things.
I will say I did like this explicit language in the 18th article that Mike called out. As I review it, a commitment to justice, moderation, temperance, industry, and frugality. I see lots of application to our work in those specific words. Justice is perhaps not something that comes to mind right away when you think about telecoms. But there is a big justice component to energy and telecoms. Economic justice, social justice, and so forth. And industry, our commitment to work hard, frugality, not spend people's money frivolously. They put temperance in here, maybe that was a sign of the times. Didn't want us to drink too much while we were working. But I like those words.
yeah, they struck me from the first time I saw that.
Is there a telecom equivalent to the energy?
I don't know. I mean, I loved the energy one. I was like, okay, that's what we're trying to do.
Almost substitute. What's the
You know, if you just search online.
Oh, wait, Maria,
Yeah,
Are you
that's
looking
what it
up-
is.
Maria sent a link to our Maybe Maria would know.
Actually, Maria would be a wonderful resource.
Yeah, because it'd be cool to not, I mean, it'd be cool to just lift. Well, maybe not cool. It would be easy and very direct, to find sections of statute that are just, that is the Vermont law, this is what we're doing to guide our work. But I'm not married to that either. It just struck me this morning. So this is our process, not mine. Did Maria send a link to the telecom statutes that? But we also have, there's also like state IT. Jack, did you send a document? Did we not post? Oh, you know what? You sent it to me and I haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet. It was just a document you were putting together that had links to like all of our relevant areas of statute, right?
That's correct.
All right,
That Lynch Council sent to me and I put together and sent to you.
yes, that is stuck in my inbox. All right, hang on one sec. I've got it.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's better in the Constitution.
I don't know who suggested that.
I don't remember.
It's common law.
It seems like that should be in there, right?
But generally, we're dealing with stuff that's
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
I mean, in my experience so far.
And
Yeah.
and if it is broken, use duct tape. That's the corollary.
I am looking at,
So the energy one, hang on, what was that one we grabbed from TJ? That covers
30.
all of energy, right? Yes.
Oh,
energy.
actually, yeah, that one's just energy. But
Okay.
I'm wondering where is, because DPS also has a telecom oversight. I mean, they do policy for telecom.
Yeah,
Is that also Title 30 or is that,
yeah, so the
because 248's,
202C and 202D have a lot of intent language, and it is not in line with our current policies. So it's wireless along the roadways.
oh geez.
I just asked Google and AI came back with a long definition.
Competitive choice.
No AI.
really?
Definition of what?
For this
It costs about
committee,
4 houses worth of electricity for the entire year to get this. Universality,
I'm looking at
accessibility,
the
usability, security, privacy, transparency, equity,
mission
and inclusivity.
yeah, that's also further down in this document because I
You did
I
the same
can
thing?
tell. They're the same thing. So those are like the buzzwords.
I didn't get that.
I mean, the two words that we used to develop the last two big bills were universal service.
Yeah,
Well, not two words, but two terms, universal service and accountability.
so maybe unless there's something in, I was looking at like the language that created ADS to see if there was some. How about joint JITALK? Does JITALK have a?
Okay.
I would say that ADS was put together for more consistency, transparency, more efficient use of resources.
It'd be great if, because we don't want to have, I guess we could, so we have, all right, so energy, we've got a possible nutshell thing, and then we have like, God, our jurisdiction is so broad. I'm just thinking we have like telecoms, broadband,
So can we, maybe we should just pull back.
yeah,
So,
I
we're
think
talking
so.
about infrastructure
yes,
Right,
for modern life.
yes,
critical.
I would
Critical
say it's critical
infrastructure.
Yeah.
infrastructure, meaning that, everyone should have access to it. Which is not the regulatory frame that all of it exists some of it exists in a competitive frame.
I'm gonna try to copy, I'm taking notes, maybe we try to copy the language to ensure to the greatest extent.
Yeah, I mean, my thought is, we just don't go deep into the weeds. We make it a general statement
Yes, that.
Yeah.
and go from there. If we go too deep, we'll sit there and we will pick apart everything we talked about to the nth degree and we won't get anything.
So,
And guiding principles are supposed to help
Got
guide us when
Right,
we get into a thicket and say, wait,
right.
what did we say? What are our, where's our guidance? So I agree, this should be general.
all Vermonters, how about?
So it could be, we're talking about state IT, so it could be something about Vermont's energy, telecommunications, and digital infrastructure. Could be the first words. Will. Fill in the blank.
How about, so, all right, I'm trying to listen here. So, I was trying to kind of mirror the energy blurb, but if we
It
have
will fill in the
two,
blank.
so if we think, okay, maybe we're gonna have two, and one is that energy one, then the digital infrastructure one could kind of try to copy it. So that all Vermonters can access critical digital infrastructure.
The states, I mean, it's really state, so we're not talking about like Facebook, you're talking about the Agency of Digital Service, like the AHS websites.
Well, I'm talking about, I was gonna go to something like from, including modern telecommunications, broadband, and information technology systems. I'm making this up.
Oh, so maybe we could just have it back, oh, so you think digital? Would you take digital away from infrastructure and just have critical infrastructure?
I think critical infrastructure, unless we say digital, it could also mean like roads and bridges.
Oh, I see, yeah.
And then what were some of the words you were saying? Universal service,
Accountability.
accountability, affordability.
I just want to plant a flag for affordability, like I really need some definition.
I know, I
It's a
agree.
very subjective word.
It is, and I think we need to talk about that, but
Efficient.
et cetera, et cetera. Equal access, it has to be accessible to all.
Forward looking.
That's universal.
Universal service means it's
Yes,
accessible to
okay.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll just interject on affordability. Affordability, in my mind, in my opinion, means that people in the state,
Yeah.
every person,
Yeah.
has the ability to afford to do what we put forth.
And how do we measure that? How do we determine that? So what is the,
So we have to look at if it makes sense, if it's reasonable.
Yeah.
Uh,
so how do we measure that
because
though?
reasonable in some aspects of the state aren't the same as
Agreed.
in my area of the state. So it's gonna be, I don't think there's any cut answer to that. I don't think there's any cut definition. I think we have to just be cognizant of affordability as a whole.
So,
I would say for critical services,
yeah,
affordability means anyone who wants access can afford to do it.
But it's $50 a month, is that affordable? That's the cheapest.
For some people,
That's the cheapest service that
not
EC
for others.
Fiber had. Right.
well,
and that's-
right.
yeah,
So that's the
problem.
question, right? So, right. So, what's the benchmark? Do we look at benchmark? And I'm really interested in this, like, are there different benchmarks around the state? Like, does it take into, like, I think it's an important question,
Well,
Oh, absolutely.
where did we hear the 6%?
TJ.
That was a,
Yeah.
That was the energy
that was
burden.
a
Yeah.
nationwide average
Yeah.
of, I think it was speaking electrical,
You're
6%
about
of your
10
income on
on
electricity. But bear in mind that there are still areas that have 3 cents a kilowatt hour where GMP is 20 cents a 19 cents a kilowatt hour, 20 would be. So if you're paying almost 3.5 times as much, that's about, and there are people who probably pay 20% of their income to their energy bill, their electric bill.
One thing I would add, and you're right, we do have to take a break. A thought. For me, yeah, affordable can be a bit of a loaded word. I'm like, what does that mean? And I think it belongs in our guiding principles because I think we all think it's really important,
Yeah,
even though we all define it differently. And so in a way, to me, it's like, okay, it's gotta be in our guiding principles. And then bill by bill, we'll fight it out.
We'll figure out what it
Over
means.
what does that, you know, what does that actually mean? It's just a thought from me.
I don't think there's a clear cut definition of affordability. I think it's gonna be on a case by case.
So there are, I mean, for some things, there are definitions, right, for housing.
True, yeah.
30
True, there are federal
33%,
guidelines.
there's-
Yeah.
There's guidelines, and maybe there's 6% electricity of your income, so I suspect that even if there isn't one, we could come, some percentage of household income for telecom, some percentage of household income for energy burden. We can probably find a workable,
Yeah.
like hard
Right.
definition.
Yeah.
But you're right, I mean, because percent of household income means it varies from person to person and from where you are in the state and all that, but that kind of percent of household income incorporates all of those variables.
I think we could probably discuss it and come up with something that works for all of us and works for what we do here.
By topic, probably.
Yeah, because it might not be in our guiding principles, but it might be some good work to do,
Do you
you
think,
know, bill
That's
by bill.
important.
I'm wondering if that helps us with the other issue though, that your UN sustainability guiding principle kind of gets to, which is the cost of something today versus the cost tomorrow. And, you
That's
know,
part of the definition of affordability, depending on, you know, what
Yeah.
we're talking.
because we're talking about an infrastructure investments that last a long time.
Yeah,
And that I kind of liked hearing from Christine about the term future-proofing initiatives, because that's a wise investment for durability of the fact that technology changes so much and that you need to anticipate.
Short term and long term.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, so that, I guess that's part of the conversation.
all right. So, okay, that was cool. And, you know, we might end up, this might be like something we work on for a long time. You know, we might have a cork for. I mean, I just love the conversations. So, all right, we have to go. I think we can adjourn and go to the floor.
Sounds good.
And